Hey, friends, before we start this episode, I want to say thank you to all of you guys for listening. And also, the station at which we record this in does not charge me a damn thing to record this in, which is pretty great. They also put my episodes up on Spotify and Apple, and not just on YouTube. It's everywhere. And that station, Radio Free Rhinecliff, is doing a fundraiser right now. They operate solely off of donations, and everything that they raise will be matched by somebody I don't know. They seem to be pretty wealthy if they're going to match. But I think their goal is like 25K. So and they do it, I guess, every year. I mean, the station doesn't charge anything, so this is really awesome. I know I'm going to donate because they've been so good to me. But please, if you can, seriously, if you can't, don't worry about it. But if you can, please go check out their Instagram. It's at radio.free.rhinecliff. There's a link in the bio if you want to donate. But please just consider it. If you can't, any bit helps, and it will be matched. So that's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah, they've been really great to me, Jen and Matt and the Epicurean. But yeah, if you can donate, they need new equipment. I don't know if you've noticed. This, but this is going to ruin all the episodes that you listen to. There's like a little. Do you hear that? When I record in the studio, and I think there's a wire that might be frayed. I don't know. It might need to be replaced, but that's not going to happen, and it's not going. Now it's going to bother you. And if you don't donate, it'll bother you in all future episodes. I know you're still going to listen because I'm likable. Show title. But please donate if you can. Radio.free.rhinecliff, and keep this stuff independent. You know, the big media doing all this kind of stuff, not cool. Censorship, whatever. I could say whatever the fudge I want. I personally modified what I was gonna say there. I didn't say fuck because I'm classy. All right, guys, enjoy the episode.
Jokes and you're insightful, but are you likable? You got jokes, you're the host, stand up. Are you likable?
Hello and welcome to Likeable, a show where we discuss stand-up comedy from an entry-level perspective. My name is David Stickle. I am your host, and today I am joined by Yelena.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Should I be looking at this? Should I be looking at you?
Whatever you prefer. I stare at the camera a lot, and then I'll look back, and
nice.
you know, I like to remember that there is sometimes people listening, and then sometimes way less watching. You know,
I think that's. I like to think of that as the Oprah method. Like I remember when I used to watch the Oprah show, she was very good at like doing interviews, but then also making eye contact with the camera, like bringing the viewer back in. So
when people think about likable, they're like very Oprah-esque when they watch.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
There you go.
Yeah, I need who was Stedman?
Stedman, yeah.
Stedman. I need a Stedman. You know,
yeah.
They could sit right there.
Yeah.
And that'll be great. I'm working on
You need
it.
a Gail.
A Gail?
Gail, like a best friend who's like,
Ooh.
Are they or aren't they? You know.
Oh, really? There's
Yeah.
a Gail. There's a Gail instead of Stedman.
Yeah, it's got to be same gender where
Same
there's
gender.
a
Okay.
will they won't they energy to it.
Sure. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Cool. How are you today?
Good.
Yeah. Did you?
Finally waking up from the drive here, but I'm glad I did it. It's really picturesque.
Yeah.
Once you get off the highway.
Where did you come up from?
Bloomfield, New Jersey.
Bloomfield, New Jersey. Quick 2 hours.
Quick 2 hours, yeah.
Quick
little
2 hours.
Little under.
Yeah. And you're squeezing this in before a show tonight in New York.
Yes, I have a show this will come out way later, but I have a show at the Whiskey Cellar tonight at 6:30.
The Whiskey Cellar.
So, yeah, I've done one show there before with a different producer, and now I'm back.
Yeah, you're back, Terminator style.
Do it, yeah. And I think pretty much everybody else on the show I've never seen live before, so I'm excited to check them out.
Do you know who else is on the show?
I can look it up on my phone, but offhand, no. I actually haven't met anybody else that's on the show with me.
Okay.
So that's a good way to meet new people and see their.
Whiskey Cellar's the one with all the mirrors, right?
I don't
Am I misremembering?
The first time I did it, we were like in the downstairs room.
Okay.
Maybe the upstairs is there might be mirrors. I don't know.
I went to I went to New York to do a mic, and then I had Luxor after, but that wasn't till 9 o'clock. And Michael and Gubiade and I were kind of killing time. And at the mic we were at, our friend Hunter Wright was there, and Hunter was like, "Hey, I got a spot at the whiskey cellar. Do you guys want to swing through, help fill up the room?"
Yeah.
We're like, sure. So showed up there, and this was on like ground level, but like there was like a maze of rooms back there, and I went into one of the mazes, and then there was just like an audience on top of a comic, and then there was just mirrors everywhere, so I could see myself watch comedy.
What? Okay,
it was very interesting, and there was like a red light to it.
I hope we're in one of the upstairs rooms now.
Okay.
By the mirrors, but last time I was there, it was downstairs, kind of away from everything.
Was the were the mirrors? Do you think the mirrors? Wait, was it downstairs like uncomfortable, or was it a nice room?
It was a small room.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable, but
Okay.
I mean, like 2 rows of chairs.
Okay.
You can't probably fit. Maybe you could fit 20 people in there. Maybe
Okay.
Audience
Wicked
members.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the upstairs room had room for maybe 30.
Okay.
It wasn't like huge. It's not like the difference between industry room and red curtain room, as I refer to at Broadway. I don't know what is that room called, do you know?
I think they just refer to them as blue room or red room.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Cool. Yeah. Interesting. So are you excited for the show tonight? How much time are you doing?
I'm doing 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Okay.
So it's going to be my tight 5 plus 2 jokes, joke and a half. Whenever
Okay.
they light me, I'll figure it out.
What are you adding on to the tight 5?
So you've heard the tight 5. I also now do, I do like a little introduction about my last name. I say like, it's so hard to spell. I mean, you've heard it's so hard to spell that.
I don't know even how to say it. It was
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I do that little spiel. It's so hard to spell. My friend uses that as a password. I might do an acknowledgement of why my face looks angry, even though I'm not. It's because Slavic. And so that adds like a couple of minutes to the set. So actually it might just be all of that.
Okay.
The Type 5. It's interesting, like it's trying to add more stuff to the Type 5. We're trying to replace things that are in it. The hardest part is for me figuring out what the time difference is with the additions or subtractions.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
I know how much my Type 5 is with time built in for laughs. But if I switch, like the joke that I currently have switched out, it's a little bit longer than the joke that I exchanged it with.
Okay.
So...
Interesting. I do this thing where I have like intro joke and then I have my close joke. So when I get the light, I know to start that one.
Yeah.
So wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I'm just like, oh, okay, now I have to start my close.
Yeah. What I'm dealing with right now is I kind of don't want to save my closer for the end because I want to make sure I get it into the set.
Okay.
If I start running over, I don't want my best joke or one of my best jokes to get missed.
Okay.
But I do have like a one-liner where I'm like, do you ever think about how many of your friends wouldn't exist if their moms had high self-esteem when they met their dads? I don't know if I did that joke with you.
Yeah, I heard that the other day.
So sometimes I'll end with that, even though that can sometimes be a little dark for some certain rooms. So I need another one-liner that's like a little bit cheerier
Yeah.
than that to end on, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how comedians do it differently, I think, because we had talked about this. We just had a show in Staten Island on Monday, and by the time this comes out, who knows?
Steiny's, yeah.
Steiny's Pub with Patrick Haggerty.
Shout out, Patrick.
Shout out Patrick Haggerty. What's up, dude? And we were talking before the show about how you have like your type 5 and you stick to that. And I just kind of like come up with a bunch of shit that I'm just like, whatever works, and then, we're talking like quality versus quantity, I guess, So you feel like your type 5, like, so how long have you been doing comedy for?
So I'm at 1.5 years.
Okay. 1.5 years. I'm at 2 years. How long do you think it took you to build like that 5?
I had a different Type 5 kind of early on, maybe like 6 months in.
Okay.
And there was a joke that I used to do that actually, my Type 5 used to be more of a cohesive unit because the final joke was a callback to an earlier joke in the set.
Okay.
That callback joke I no longer do at all. Like I completely cut it from my set because I don't like it. It's not in the branding of the kind of comedy I want to do.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I
do
cut
that
it.
too.
Yeah. So I cut it out, and so my type 5 is no longer like a cohesive unit, but it is funnier in my opinion.
Okay.
And it is more on brand in terms of what I would like to do. So I had that version of a type 5, and then after a while, I was like, I was so sick of doing that joke, but I didn't have enough good material yet to replace it with. And then as soon as I got like my little chunk about dating, the not drinking, women, and shape ups, that little trio about dating, that replaced what that joke used to be. And so now it's a little bit disconnected, but it feels, I think it's better, funnier, and more original than what it used to be. So I'm now on kind of like now it's my third iteration of the type 5 because I've just switched out that joke. But yeah, it took me about maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What I did when I started was I came up with a lot of stuff, and the quality might not have been there, but like I didn't think about going back and editing things until like 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I was just like, I gotta find some old stuff and just make it better, So
Yeah.
I just found some like tried and true stuff that like always kind of worked. And then I'm like, can I make the laughs per minute like more in this, And then it's just like changing words or how I said something, whatever, So that's, but I mean, a lot of suffering in between.
Yeah, I mean,
till now.
For me, what got this type 5 really, really tight is doing industry room, because I knew it was sort of a competition, but there was something to win, and so I had to be like perfect with it. And so I did that at the end of January, but several months beforehand, I was just running my type 5 over and over again at all my mics.
Yeah.
And all the shows that I booked, I was just doing that material to the point where like there was at least one comedian like rolling his eyes that I was doing the same material, and it's like, but that was as a result of me deciding to do that, was a result of me having a conversation with a much more senior comedian, Franco Danger, in New Jersey. We had maybe a conversation in October, and he talked about how when he was getting started and he was getting his type 5 down, he was like, I would just go and run the same set over and over at mics for months to get it, to completely memorize it, because it's when you memorize it word for word that you can feel a bit more freedom in terms of like your body language, your facial expressions. And so that's what I was working towards, is because he really was the one who gave me like, I don't want to say permission, but sort of permission, like, oh, there's a more senior comic who did this. And so I had to kind of put to the side my fear of like, oh, other comedians in my scene are going to think I'm not writing enough. They're going to think I'm not writing enough, whatever. But I was like, no, I'm prepping for this specific showcase, and I need the type 5, and the other open micers are not determining my career off of this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm glad I did that, and I do now think about my material in terms of like, okay, I have my type 5, right? I need to get my 10 as tight as my type 5. Right now it's like a little bit more loosey-goosey, because I'll do the type 5 and then I'll do my newer jokes as part of it as well. But I need it as tight as a type 5. The other thing I need is a clean type 5.
Okay.
Like a fully clean. That's what I want. I might actually do industry room again in a few months just to get a clean set.
Yeah. Interesting.
At that
Why do you want
quality.
to switch to try clean?
I think it fits me. I want the option of doing completely clean shows. I forget the name of the festival. There's a clean comedy festival in the Midwest somewhere.
Okay.
I think this summer I'd like to apply for that if I have a tape ready. I would never call myself a clean comedian, because this is going to ruffle some feathers. I think a lot of clean comedians focus on being clean more than they focus on being funny.
Fair.
You know, and you go and see them, and it's like, hey, anybody else married with kids? Like, no. Do you have any other material? Oh, that's all you're going to talk about as a clean comedian, And so anytime somebody introduces themselves as a clean comic to me, I'm a little bit suspicious. Like, are you actually going to be funny, or are you just focused on, look at how I don't curse or talk about sexual stuff?
It's definitely tough
in my set. So I want to be able to be funny and still have the clean option. I want to be able to do late night and be completely clean for that,
Yeah, because there's different tiers of clean.
Yeah.
I'm in the Clean Comedy Collective. Fancy. It's not really. But I had the founder of the Clean Comedy Collective on, and we talked about.
So is that the one? Do they like you can get registered as a clean comedy? Okay.
The value in that is if you have a clean set, you submit it to them. They put you in their thing. What they do is the network of, let's just say you're going to go to Nashville in like 2 months because you have a different show. You can hit up that collective and be like, hey, does anybody have any shows they can throw me on? And then there's like, I've seen this happen in that group so many times where they're just like, do my spot. And because you're from like the Northeast, they like view that very highly. So,
the New York market. Yeah.
Yeah. So they definitely help each other out a lot.
So let me ask you about that, because I noticed that and I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to submit because not all of my material is clean. Are you allowed to do?
Oh, you don't have to just be clean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's just saying you have a set.
Yeah.
How many minutes do you need to be certified by them?
I think you could just submit a 5.
Okay.
I sent them. I did Levity Live as a showcase once, and I sent them the tape from that, and I did like 10 minutes on that stage, all clean, with the exception of my first joke where I said the word shit. And in the email, I'm like, hey, that could be crap, by the way. It doesn't have to be the word shit. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't really have like a high tier of entry because clean is so is actually a very broad spectrum because there's like no cussing, but then there's also you can add on no sexual content at all, no religion, no politics. You can also do what's it called there, like squeaky clean, which would be like you can do it in front of children.
Yeah.
And that's also, but once you get into that market, it's like churches, you can do all this stuff and they pay a lot. So, that's nice.
I don't think I'm quite qualified to do comedy in front of children. Not because of the cleanliness stuff, but because I don't know if children would find me funny. But I already don't, even in my like regular material, I don't swear at all. Like I swear in my regular life, but if I'm pre-writing my jokes, why would I need to include swear words?
Definitely.
But I'll use like my 5'11" joke has the word chlamydia. I feel like that keeps it from, that's not really clean if I include.
Depends on the collective, I guess. It depends on what so sometimes like I've gotten booked for a clean show, and it was like in a diner in North Jersey. There's a lot of old people there, and I'm like, hey, you said clean. What is your version of clean for when you booked me for this? And they're like, yeah, try not to curse too much, and maybe don't poke fun of religion. I'm like, all right, cool. But they just knew their crowd. And they just knew that like the older people there wouldn't appreciate making fun of religion. So I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think as I continue booking my own shows that I produce, I'm going to have a variation of clean. It's not, swearing is allowed, but I don't want super explicit sexual material. Mainly because I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear about it.
You don't want to hear dick
I don't
jokes?
want to know about it. I don't want to hear it from the men or the women or the non-binaries either. And for me, it's funny because like, I get a lot of compliments from male comedians like, hey, it's so nice that like you're not the regular female comedian. You don't talk about like your private parts or whatever, right? And I'm like, very ironic that I'm getting this compliment from guys who talk about their dicks for like half their set.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a double standard.
It's pot calling the kettle black in that situation.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dudes, like, it is a double standard because guys, like, there's like very little stigma about dudes like talking about dicks and cum, on their set. But like when a woman does it, they're like, oh, wow, that's all she's got. And it's like, that's not. It might just be a premise.
That's all you have, actually. Yeah,
exactly. It's kind of interesting how that happens. But I mean, it is like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't.
To be clear, I also don't want to hear that from female comedians. I don't like
fair.
the fact that men are like, hey, nice, good job. I'm like, what about your set, buddy? What about the sets of all of your friends we just heard on the lineup? Like, that's...
Yeah, I did some like self... what's the word? I did some spring cleaning on my jokes, and I realized that a lot of them have like... I make fun of like because it's easy, like an innuendo to like pedophilia in there. It's always just like that easy thing to be like, and my uncle, and then
that's interesting. I've never been called to make those kind of jokes. I don't know why.
It was just easy, I think, easy laugh. And I'm like, well, I'm not talking about race. I'm not talking about sex. I mean, kind of talking about sex actually, but it's like it was that thing, and I'm just like, there's got to be a different way to write this joke. Like I had a joke where I concluded a bit where I'm talking about like board games and then therapy relations to those, and it was like, we'd play Guess Who to figure out who the pedophile was on Law and Order SVU or something like that, and I'm like, let's scrap that completely, and I replaced it with like Connect 4 and Swingers, because that's but anyways, that's like where I made that switch, and I'm like, it's still sexual, but I'm not going down the route of like molestation,
yeah. It's also sometimes that stuff, I think that it goes too far into shock value rather than funny value.
Yeah. And also, like, not for nothing, but it makes the joke so much better because it cuts out like 10 words, and I'm like, man, this is nice. I could just say it and move on. Yeah. So you have your tight 5, which I've broken down into 5'11" sober dating, top half of women, and then shape up, and then guns and strippers. Do you think that's fair? Am I missing anything?
Indian guys. Fat Indian guys. Yeah, that's my last one.
That's your closer.
Yeah. And Guns and Strippers is the one that I've switched out for parallel parking. Did I do parallel parking last night? Or on Monday, or did I?
That's where the homeless guy helps you?
Yeah.
And he's a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that joke a lot, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Is that newer?
Yeah, it's newer.
Okay.
It's something that did happen to me, ironically.
Yeah,
like, it's based on true events. Like, there was a guy walking by doing this. I was actually thinking about that joke today to see if I can add a tag, because I'm like, there's no way a guy who doesn't own shoes is going to know how to drive a car. And then it's like, and then maybe the punchline is something like, how does a guy who doesn't have housing or shoes know how to parallel park better than me? Like, that's,
Yeah.
But yeah, based on true events, he does this, and then he walks off.
Yeah, when somebody's doing this, sometimes I think of them like cleaning a window.
Yeah,
he was a pro. Like, I thought he was just trying to sell me he wanted to wash my windshield.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
No,
it was very clearly he was miming how I should turn that steering wheel.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I like to think of that. I mean, you go into like being like how women don't like want X, Y, and Z, but then they do want. I don't know how much to say about the joke.
Oh, you can say it.
But yeah, but then you're like, he could have been a creep, but then also he did show me how to park my car.
Yeah.
So let's let him get a pass.
Yeah. Did I do the subway second half of that joke about the subway? Me being on the subway?
I don't think so.
So the second half of that joke that I perform when I have time is. As I talk about, like, that made me think of other almost crimes that I would be okay with, depending on what I got out of it. Then I talk about, like, I used to be fat, and one day, like, I got onto the New York City subway, and it was packed, no seats, and some guy actually got up and gave his seat to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, what? Why are you giving me your seat? He's like, oh, please, miss, you're pregnant. And I was just like, oh, thank you so much. And it's like, so it's this sort of thing where, like, I'm not pregnant, I'm just fat, and I happen to look pregnant when I get at that weight, right? And somebody was being a good Samaritan, and somebody and I've had guys have a negative reaction to that, like, oh, what a jerk that guy was for assuming you're pregnant. I'm like, he gave up his seat to me. Like, that's a person being a good Samaritan. They thought they were doing something nice. And my point of the joke is, like, we should reward nice behavior. Why would I get mad at somebody for thinking that I'm pregnant? Like, I was fat, like, what do you want, and honestly, and it's like, yeah, it's same as getting catcalled, but then, like, he helps people parallel park. It's like, all right, you get a freebie. Like, you get a freebie for believing that telling me I look pregnant. If you just gave up your seat for me, I'm not
yeah. So. I like that premise a lot, actually. That's I almost want to think of, like, there is like that thing when guys do creepy shit, and then the ignorant thing to say after that is, well, what were you wearing? And I'm like, well,
that's a good, if I could work that in somehow.
Yeah. Because it's like, where you at? You know what I mean? Like, what were you? Yeah, because it would just be funny to play with that a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I thought of that. Just like, you have this joke about ancient Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
That you mentioned to me in Staten Island. You're like, if you think of anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And is it okay if I thought of things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ancient Mesopotamia is known for being the first. The joke is, I remember it in parts. So you're working at the museum, and you're in the ancient Mesopotamia section of the museum, and you want a sign for your section, or that says you're there available.
That says I'm doing tours. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was you initially took that job because you thought you would meet men there.
Yeah.
And then,
which is so funny in hindsight.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
And you're like, there's no straight men here. Yeah.
They're there, but they're all on dates and like early dates. Because I did like a little survey with my guy friends. Like my friend Johnny O'Keefe, he's also a comedian. And I was just like, so like, do you and your wife like go on dates at the museum? Because I'm like, oh, I see a lot of guys on dates, and he's like, honestly, no. It's like maybe in the beginning we would have, but once you're married, you know. So it's like they are there, but they're on very early dates.
Well, you can kind of catch them and before they've committed to the team.
No,
you know,
yeah. I did at one point. I did have a tag that was like, this is like a side chick's dream. Because there are all these like, if you really want to be the second whatever.
Yeah, that is funny actually. Yeah. I was thinking ancient Mesopotamia. I googled ancient Mesopotamia for this. Ancient Mesopotamia, known for the first writing system. I'm sure you know that. But you still couldn't get a sign made. Ironic.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Ancient Mesopotamia, you're there to meet men, right? Ancient Mesopotamia is the land between two rivers. That's what it translates to. And you're trying to, this is dirtier, get a dude between two thighs.
Yeah, that's
Too dirty? Okay, never
not
mind.
me. Would be good for a different comic, actually. I think that's clever.
Okay.
But for me, no.
And then I was thinking, I have no idea. I just thought of this as a funny phrase, Hammurabi's code switching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you can use that, but
Yeah.
I was like,
There's
yeah,
something there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just a funny phrase to me, you know?
Yeah, the tricky thing with that is really my tours are about ancient Assyria, the ancient Assyrian Empire.
Okay.
I started
research.
Right. No. But you wouldn't know that from my joke because because when people hear Assyria, they think of Syria, the country, which no relation. Ancient Assyria was based in modern day Iraq.
Okay.
But there's so many details there that explaining them in a joke doesn't make sense. So I switched to ancient Mesopotamia. Like, I wasn't gonna say ancient Babylon because Babylon and Assyria were competing. So like, I have like a scholar's like, I'm not gonna misname who I'm doing tours about. So it's actually about ancient Assyria, and I wish I could go into details. Like they invented mail. Like there are a lot of cool things about. Sorry, I keep touching this mic. I don't know if
That's okay.
if you hear it on the.
I don't
audio.
hear it online,
Okay.
but
And so I wanted to kind of talk about like the cool stuff about the ancient Assyrian Empire and specifically about the king, the art that's on the walls. But there's a little too much exposition that loses people. First of all, Assyria is because people think of Syria. It screws me up.
yeah, it kind of makes them think about things that you don't want them to think about, right?
Like what?
Well, just like, actually, what was interesting about ancient Mesopotamia when you bred it up, I'm like, that's Greece. And then I did not
it's
know.
not Greece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. That's because he said ancient Mesopotamia. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, we're talking about Greeks. That's how dumb I am. But like,
but here's the thing. But I think that's like that you probably have like a very common level of understanding because we learn about ancient Mesopotamia like in the 5th grade. How much
Yeah.
of your 5th grade education are you going to retain? Probably
Almost
not a
none of
lot.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, that's why I thought of like Hammurabi's code, because the second I Googled it, it was like, oh, Hammurabi's code, eye for an eye. And I'm like, oh, I remember that. I remember a teacher saying that. So I'm like, if I'm in a crowd and I don't know what you're talking about, the minute you say eye for an eye, it will trigger some kind of nostalgia
So that's
thing.
Babylon. So that's not
Okay.
the competitors to ancient Assyria.
Yeah.
So fuck and no, sorry. Bleep that out. So I did have a tag at some point that I couldn't quite get it, the big laugh out of it. But my other complaint was that, the ancient Assyria wing is right off the ancient Egyptian wing. And most people are there to see ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt has way better. They were kind of around the same time, and traded with one another. But ancient Egypt just has such better PR in the Western world. I think they contributed just as much to Western civilization, to the start of Western civilization. But one is more famous than the other. It's like, I feel like the Solange to ancient Egypt's Beyonce. Like, I'm also important. Like, recognize my artistry. So I had like a little I couldn't quite get it to hit as like somebody like you would laugh because you know the reference. But that's not Solange, Beyonce. Not everybody makes that connection.
What about New Jersey to New York? people kind of get like that little brother syndrome.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same.
That's fair.
It's not quite. Yeah, it's not quite the same comparison.
It's also a little hacky, but you know.
I think in the right hands, anything could be funny. It's just in my hands at this moment. It's not, you know? Like I don't have the skill set to make that metaphor. But thank you for Googling ancient Mesopotamia. I'm flattered that you were like, let me educate myself before I give notes. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to like have some kind of value to the to the contribution, because like you mentioned like, hey, you know, please, or you didn't say please, but you're just like, you know, hey, if you think of anything, just, you know, let me know. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then afterwards, we didn't really get a chance to talk after the show, but also, I was like, I don't know anything about ancient Greece, but I want to come up with something clever.
I love that.
So I Googled it. And then I'm like looking at some of the structures, like I guess there were temples that they have for the imagery of ancient Mesopotamia.
And the palaces, yeah.
Yeah, and I still didn't look up where it was. I just looked up what it was. And I'm like, between two rivers, I'm like, is this between Panama Canal? And you know, so I'm like thinking it's like South America, you know? And I'm like, God, or Central. I don't know. I'm so bad at geography. And then I'm just like, I need to where, you know? And then I saw a map. It showed Iraq on there. And I'm like, all right, cool. Got an idea. Yeah. So maybe you could make fun of how people don't know where it is.
Well, yeah, but that's a good point. If you thought it was in like Lima, Peru, like that's a good starting point. Like, guys, it's not ancient Greece. I know what you're thinking. But even that is like, because assuming that it was ancient Greece or it was in Greece is already sort of like an educated guess. Because we're talking about the ancient world. So you were off by thousands of miles, but the point is
so bad.
But the point is that like your mind is thinking, you're like, okay, where was the ancient world concentrated according to Western history, right? And it's like it's probably in Greece. Like that's an educated guess, I would say. What I'm trying to say is some people wouldn't even make that educated guess.
Well, I mean, you could make fun of the fact that people might be thinking ancient Greece, right? You can just call out the crowd a little bit if you want to have fun with them.
I can do multiple choice. Is it A, Greece?
Oh, you
B,
could do
Egypt,
that. Yeah.
C, or like modern day Greece, modern day Iraq, modern day.
Yeah, you could.
Peru.
You could maybe just keep that in your back pocket if you have a disruptive crowd and you want to pull somebody in and be like, I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, do you like doing crowd work? Do you do any crowd work?
No, I hate it.
Exactly.
I'm there to tell you my material and you laugh at how great it is. I don't care where you work.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I don't care who you're dating. You are here to listen to me, you know?
I do crowd work as when I get a hosting gig. I like to interact with little crowd because for me it's like everybody just came in off the street. They're settling down, and now it's time for people to pay attention. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is like fearing that the teacher might call on you. You know, so it's like, all right, you know. So
that's good. Yeah, that's
so
a good way to think about it.
Yeah, if you have a disruptive bar crowd in the middle of your set, if you interact with one of them, everybody else is going to pay attention, especially if you're asking a question.
Yeah.
Like a tough question, you know, because like that'll get all of them to kind of tune in. And then if you just hit them quick with something.
I would like a multiple choice. I would do that. I do. My crowd work is like if somebody reacts to a joke, I might interact with them in the context of the joke that in the context of the bit.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I wouldn't. But I'm honestly not interested in where they're from. You know, and also I love good crowd work. Like Stavros does amazing. He's so good. I've seen
therapist.
I've seen every single crowd work compilation that he's ever put out. But I've also seen comics at our level who are just horrible. I mean, you're embarrassed for them. I'm embarrassed for the audience having to sit through that. I want to go up to the audience after the fact and apologize to them for like this secondhand cringe is very strong for me when it comes to crowd work.
Yeah. I watch. I'm at a lot of comedy shows, as I'm sure you are. But what I like to do is I like to watch the crowd. Like I'll listen to the comedian, but I'm watching the crowd because that's my joy in this is like, hey, we're here to emote laughter, right? So like when I'm watching crowd work happen and it's not going well, like I'm primarily focused on the crowd, you know? So it's like, like you can see shoulders change, you can see heads tilt, you can see arms cross, and I'm like, oh man, like the body language is rough right now. And you know, so I definitely get I start sweating for the comedian. So that happens. But it's funny, like Stavros will ask like he's from ancient Mesopotamia.
Good callback.
So Stavros will ask like a question about somebody, and then he'll just make a lot of assumptions, which is cool. But usually he's right.
It's a lot of like character calls almost.
He's
like,
really good at breaking somebody down, like as far as like guessing who they are and then assuming some things. And it's funny because he's a professional, obviously, at it. Joe List, also a professional. Rough crowd work, but he does it in an ironic way, which I think is really funny. I'm not there yet, but like,
I love, you know who else I love? Jeffrey Asmus.
Okay.
His crowd work is different because he mostly just insults the crowd, but in a way where you're like, you know, it's like a character doing it.
Yeah. He's fun to watch. I've never been like a real fan of like Matt Rife's crowd work, you know, but that's just more because like, you know, it feels like, you know, like your cool friend is picking on you a little bit, you know, and it's just like, we don't really.
I haven't seen too much of his crowd work, to be honest. I know that's like how he got big, but as he was getting big on TikTok during the pandemic, I was discovering Stavi on YouTube.
Interesting.
So I kind of, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I followed Stavi's road.
Have you ever watched Joe List's crowd work specials?
Not the specials. I've seen like clips online.
Yeah, it's like it's almost funny to watch the difference between Joe and Stavi
really?
Back to back, you know, because it's just like you have somebody who's an expert at it and somebody who's fucking with it, you know, and it's like it's almost like a meta level of crowd
I gotta watch it then. That's very
it's
interesting.
interesting because you know he's great at acknowledging how awkward it is, you know, and he's like, yeah, you know, comedy, you know, like he'll fuck around, you know, and it's just like it's fun.
Have you seen Big J's crowd work?
Yeah, I've seen Big J live a few times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's just like it makes me jealous because I'm like, sold out a theater, 300 people. He's just up there, and you know he's asking certain questions to get certain results. And
they're leading questions. They're leading questions to his bits.
Yeah, but it primarily just looks like he can fill an hour with like 25 questions, and you know he just fucks around. Like I know there's a lot of writing that probably goes into that, but also there's like so much room for flexibility too, and you know he's also good at remembering the conversation he had with this person over here while he's talking to this person and being like, I'm going to link this person back into, and it's going to be a crowd experience, not just a one person. It's very unique.
This isn't crowd work, but one of my favorite jokes from Big J is he was making fun of murals. He's like, you know, you're in a bad neighborhood when there's like a mural. Like, look, hey kids, look at all the art. Every time I see a mural in real life, I think of Big J being like, look, kids, look at all the art.
And
it's like probably a bad neighborhood where I am if I see a wall mural.
That's true, actually. That's funny. So that's my ancient Mesopotamia material.
All right, ancient Greece. I love that. That's so funny, dude. That's hilarious.
I'm not that smart.
Like I said, you're probably far ahead of other people. That's an educated guess. I gotta give you credit for that.
Yeah, I don't know why it registered as Mesopotamia in my head when I'm thinking of Alexander the Great. But did he battle ancient Mesopotamia?
He went into Babylon. He went into that area.
Okay. Did he conquer or no?
I think he did conquer, but then he like died.
Okay.
Like he died young.
As one does.
Yeah. That level. He died very young.
You know, happens to the great ones, you know.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Shout out, you know, services are soon, I think. You know, poor little guy. No, that's Napoleon. Fun. What did I want to do? I thought of a callback for you.
Ooh,
if that's okay.
I need one. Tell me.
So I was watching Year 5
a
couple times today. And you have the gun in the mouth, don't want the stripper in the mouth, right? Yeah. And then I was going to say you should try to work in a callback to the sushi joke you make earlier in the joke.
Ooh, okay.
You know, if you want to. Because, I mean, in the video you sent me of your Type 5, there's at least one person in the back of the room that hits like a fucking wrecking ball, and you just hear this guy going wild in the back of the room. And then I was just like, I mean, that resonated with a large. I mean, you do a very good job of you do a very good job of letting your jokes breathe. And I think comedians that are like less than 5 years in, this is just from my observation, and I also make this mistake, stepping on their own jokes, where it's just like you make a joke, you get a laugh, and sometimes it's a little bit more of a thinker, and then you just start the next joke before people get a chance to really absorb it, you know? And you did a very good job in that set, but also, like, I saw you on Monday, you did a very good job of like your timing and everything. But yeah, it was like it was very cool to watch that.
Thank you.
know?
But I will say, like, that is 100% because I was prepping for the showcase, and they do like a prep call. Rich does a prep call with you about how the set should go, and you know they're very strict on the 5-minute timeline. And he says you have to build in time for laughs. That means your full set should not be 5 minutes. It should be like 4:15. It should be 4:30, and then you have, because if you finish before 5, it's fine, right? But the key is that you don't go over the 5, and you need to leave room for laughs. And so I practiced and I timed it, and I knew, like, okay, if I do these jokes, it'll be within 5 minutes, but I can be more comfortable with leaving time for laughs. So that was very like purposeful. And sometimes I still do it. I'd like to think most of the time I still leave room for laughs, but sometimes if I ramble on too much and like a new joke that isn't like word for word memorized and I start running out of time, I'll rush through the end. And I've learned not to do that, because even if I mention like, okay, I only have 30 seconds to do this joke, everybody, like, they're paying attention, they want to hear the joke, but they get a little bit tense because they're nervous for me. They're worried for me not being able to finish the joke in time. And so now what I'm also working on is just cutting the end of my set.
Okay.
If I'm having a good rapport with the audience, if they're a little bit rowdy or they're really responding to my jokes, that's really what I mean by rowdy, in a good way. Sometimes I may have to sacrifice my last joke.
Yeah.
You just like won't get to it, you know? And that's something I've learned like in the past like month when I did the Rhino mic for the first time.
Okay.
Great experience, really attentive crowd, really killing it with the crowd. But because we had these like crowd interactions that were going so well, I kind of ran out of time towards the end of my set and rushed through the Indian guy joke, and even said like, okay, I only have a minute to get through this. And that didn't really get any laughs because I think people were like, oh, she needs to do it, you know? So letting the jokes breathe is something I practice for sure. And I became disciplined about it because I was prepping for the showcase. I was like, I can't mess up the showcase. I have to do as well as I possibly can.
Yeah, that's awesome that you take it, like, I think most people should take it that seriously, you know? And that is a great reason to run the same 5 over and over and over again. Because, I mean, you do have to, like, test it out on crowds to know where you have to let it breathe, too. You know, that's huge. So was that the 5 that you sent me, was that your first time at Broadway that they did the taping? Okay, so you've done it multiple times since then.
No, I've done so I did that was the showcase that depending on how you do there is when they determine whether or not you get the residency. Okay. So I received won the residency off that showcase, and I've done, for me it was 4 shows. I've done 3, and I have my last one on Saturday. At Broadway Comedy Club, 9:30.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my last one. So
to be out potentially the following Wednesday.
Yeah, it is what it is.
She killed, dude. It was awesome. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, people like threw up from laughter. It was awesome. That's cool. I had a question I was going to ask. Rhino. Did you do the competition, or did you do
just the regular mic?
Oh, okay.
I heard about it for so long, but I just never done it because it's kind of like in the opposite direction of all my other mics, because I like to do multiple mics in a night if I can.
Yeah, smart.
But I kept hearing good things, and I heard that you could get booked off a mic. That's not. They haven't booked me, but
Did you go Thursday or Saturday?
Thursday.
Okay. Usually the owner of the or the booker for the venue is there on the Saturday, because they do a Saturday at 8 o'clock they have a show, and then they'll do a 10 o'clock mic.
Oh, okay.
And then that person usually hangs around for a little bit. They don't like me, but it's
Oh, really? How come?
I think they do like clean, and I think when I started doing the competition there, there's like once a month they'll do the rhino competition.
Oh, okay.
And it's you do potentially 3 sets in the same night. So the first set is 4 minutes, and you're in a flight of 4, and then they'll do 4 flights. The winner of each flight will advance to the next round. You'll get 3 minutes, and then the winner of that will go on to the final, and then and then you get 4 again, I think.
And it's not all the same material, obviously, right? You're running new material.
It's all the same crowd, so you can run the same material, but they already know the jokes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I think when I was there, for the first 2 that I was there, I acknowledged that the crowd liked more harsh and dirty humor. So I did harsh and dirty material. The booker doesn't seem to like that. so like, and also like, if you win the competition, you win a spot on a show, and then you just do really well there, and they'll keep, bringing you back. And they do another show at the end of the year with all the winners, so, there's definitely some value in going to the competition.
Okay, I didn't know about the competition.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you for telling me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
no
to
problem.
do that. Yeah.
I think they still do it. But yeah, that's how I met a lot of comedians. Actually, a lot of comics show up for that. And it's just like Josh Tinley, if you've met him before.
Yeah.
Dojo. Yeah.
His laugh is like resonating in in my head. Like, yeah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah. It's like whenever I see Josh, I'm like, yeah, nah. But yeah, I think that's where I met him for the first time. And then there's just so many like Jersey comics that I've met there.
Yeah.
Because that whole area, that north end of New Jersey kind of butts into that lower end of New York, or at least Western New York, I guess. But it's like a cool little melting pot of stuff. Just like on the opposite end of New York, there's all the White Plains stuff. Right. And then you get Connecticut comics in there too. Okay. So it's like cool to see the different styles of comedy and like what they think is funny versus, what certain parts of New York think is funny and certain parts of Jersey. It's pretty cool. So there's a lot of value in that.
Okay, yeah.
But the rhino spot is cool. I haven't been there in a minute, but it's, well,
now I'm going to try to go back if they have the competition still.
Yeah, they put it on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, what's tricky about those is it definitely helps to go later in the flight because the voting starts as soon as your flight is over. So if it's 4 of you and you're the 4th one to go, I mean, you're most recency bias, right? It also helps to go in the 2nd or 3rd flight or 4th flight versus the 1st flight because the crowd is still very much settling in, Then the last like 3 times I went, for some reason I was always like 1 overall, and I'm like, oh, like this is like every time I'm getting a cold crowd. And and it's fun. It's very fun, and if you just hang out, you get to see like 16 comedians do their stuff, and it's a long show, but it's worth it. Yeah 10 out of 10 rack.
Nice. Okay.
At least once. So what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. Okay. You have a show.
Wow. It feels like
it flies by, doesn't it?
I was like, we've only been here for 30 minutes tops. That's crazy.
When I started the show, they're like, you're going to have trouble filling an hour. You should start with half-hour episodes. I'm like, I don't think.
Yeah. We actually like what we're talking about.
Exactly. I'm
fine on time.
Cool.
to get to the city. So it's more cool. your timeline.
That's fine. We should talk about the show you're producing that's coming up.
Yeah.
Yes. When is it coming out?
So it's next Friday. So I don't know if this is going to be out by then.
I could put this out on Wednesday.
Oh, hell yeah. So next Friday, April 17th, Bloomfield, New Jersey, Everyday Grind Coffee Company. Okay. Right off the Bloomfield train station. If anybody's taking NJ Transit it's across the street, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, I just had 2 comics drop out from my lineup.
Rough. What happened?
They didn't say. One said, oh, sorry, I forgot, I can't make it. Another one said he booked another show and now he can't do my show.
Oh, wait, what time of day is it?
It's 7:30 doors, 8 o'clock show on a Friday.
8 o'clock show on a Friday. Okay, so I mean, there are a lot of different shows. I mean, so I produce a few shows.
Yeah.
Like the only time like I find that to be like okay, is like I was producing a show in Hopewell, New York, and we had comics coming up from the city, and they were like, "Hey, there's like a Don't Tell taping tonight, and we're supposed to be on that, and we potentially could be on that," and I'm like. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, you have to come. Yeah.
You're gonna get 8 million followers tomorrow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then like I get it if like a comedy club offers somebody a spot, because bar show versus a club show, you got to do the club show. I think.
Yeah. Or if you're opening for a touring comedian or something, like a last minute.
For sure. Or if it's a paid spot versus an unpaid spot, like I get that too. But if it's like timing wise, like you have 3 shows that night and like you were squeaking me in, but it's also an hour drive each, but like there's so much with being up here that I have to like account for.
Yeah.
Because I'm like
you're much more lenient.
Yeah. And I think that's why I justify paying a little bit more for comics, because it's like I'm kind of.
Are you comfortable talking about how much you're paying? We
I
don't have to talk about. Or we
I don't
can talk
like
about
to
it
say
offline.
the amount,
Okay.
but I will say, because I mean sometimes it varies, right? Because like sometimes I'll throw some people a couple extra bucks if they're commuting very far, and I just don't want anybody to feel like, oh, he only paid me that much, blah blah blah. But my general standard, I'll say this: my general standard is like 20 minutes is going to be roughly $120, and then 15 is 75, 10 for 50 minutes, or sorry, 10 minutes is $50, and 25 for 5 minutes typically. Now guest spots, obviously, that I don't pay those, but that's my general rule of thumb. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, based off of where they're coming from, or because if it's somebody that's like nearby, or here's the other factor: if somebody hit me up and was like, hey, I really need to work on this 20-minute set, I know you offer those to people, I will do that for you. And I'm like, awesome, because you can help me out and save my budget a little bit.
If they come in and just do that for free?
No, I mean, I'll still pay them, but
just
maybe
not
as if they were doing 10 versus,
Got it, yeah.
Because I try to make it worth. And also, if comedians are carpooling together, I'll try to throw the driver more money, or because I mean, their chances are they're gonna, split gas or whatever. So I try to book with that in mind. So we have a show on Saturday, and there was like 3 comedians that were supposed to drive up together, and the person that dropped out is gonna do an opening set in an arena in Minnesota that weekend. So, or not
Easy,
Minnesota,
yeah.
but out
Somewhere,
there.
yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I get it, buddy. So I would do the same. I would cancel the show.
Yeah.
Like, fuck these people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, okay. So we just figured it out. It was fine.
So it makes sense that you pay so much more being up here, because it is farther away from most people. It's not easy to get here on public trans, I think.
Yeah.
I think also, I suspect it's because you produce for Don't Tell, and you know how much Don't Tell is paying, so you kind of in your head probably see them not as competition, but like that's like the market. So I can tell you for this show, I'm paying $25 per 10-minute set, but that seems to be kind of the accepted range where I am. Some people pay 20, some people pay 30.
Yeah.
But my venue only seats 30 people, so and I don't want to make tickets too expensive, so if you do 30 people, $20 each, that's $600, and out of that $600, I have to pay out the comedians. I'm also hiring a professional photographer to be there, and then I also paid $60 for the flyer design.
Okay, you should save yourself some money on that one.
I disagree, actually. Here's why. The flyer looks so good. And I've seen the flyers that this guy has done for other places. And I, first of all, I hate AI flyers.
I'm not saying use AI.
And I also hate Canva.
Oh,
templates.
really?
I hate, because I've seen all of them now. Because I went into, I have a Canva account. I went in to look at the templates. Like, and I'm like, every single flyer I've seen before.
I make all mine from scratch on Canva.
Yeah, I'm not design oriented, but I like things that look nice. I think partially it's my background in the corporate world and being close to marketing and how important marketing and the branding was, that I care about that a little bit more. And so, and I'll pay him again I'll pay him $60 again for another flyer, if I'm being honest.
But you can reuse that one, right?
Yeah, I can change like the name and the date. If I do like a differently branded show, I might get a new flyer. But anyway, all that going back to, I would like to pay more. I think in order to pay more, I would have to get a venue that seats more people. I want to keep the venue owner for this place is like amazing to work with. And so if this show goes well on Friday, ideally like he and I can do more events, maybe like once a month or something like that, more comedy shows, because he's terrific. And maybe down the line, I find a venue that seats more people and there's a higher profit margin. And ideally, I'm thinking, this is assuming I don't tear my hair out by the end of Friday's show.
I hate producing.
I'm doing it for stage time.
Yep.
And I'm doing it because I have a very specific taste in comedy. And I want all my favorites on the lineup.
Hell yeah.
And I want people to be like, oh, this is like Yelena's taste in terms of comedy, right? Because my taste is up here, and then my ability is like here, just because I'm a year and a half in.
Yeah.
But there are people like in between me and my taste level, like who are closer to that taste level, right? And so I want people to be exposed to that instead of like showing up to. Sometimes you show up to a show and you're like, what the hell are these producers doing? Like, it's one thing if you do one favor spot, right? You're paying back somebody. But why are 3 people not funny?
Yeah.
And everybody bombs, by the way. And I've bombed at shows.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I've seen these people bomb over and over.
I get it. I get it. I think you do a lot of shows. I do a lot of shows. And sometimes you're there and you're like, oh, it's that kind of show, you know? So, I mean, it's, I definitely think quality control. But I do get the favor spot for, for my Crow shows, almost always reserve one spot, maybe not the first comic, but near the beginning, for a local who may have not have ever done a show yet. Or
that's very nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's only 5 minutes, but it's, I think it's valuable for that person because, like, maybe we talked about this on Monday, but what encouraged me so much when I started was that, I got booked off of 2 shows for my first open mic. So,
whoa.
Yeah, and one was a comedy club, and the other one...
That's unheard of, dude.
It was awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that really fueled some belief in myself that I could do this, you know? And thankfully, the bar show was before the club show, and I got to experience that and then know what I was walking into for the club show. Not the same caliber of stuff, but the bar show was arguably way worse than the club show. And, so I got to experience, like, bar shows are tougher. Club shows, they're there to laugh. And, so it's a little bit easier, but you do the hard thing to make the less hard thing feel easier, right? Yeah. So there was all of that into consideration, but I remember that feeling and how important that was to me. And then just being like, all right, well, if I see a comedian that's been trying, like, that's the big thing, trying.
Are they actively trying to get better?
Yeah, and I see that, and then I'm like, all right, they haven't done a spot yet, or it's been a long time. Like, let me get them on, you know? So I think that's important. Because I drive so much, if I see somebody at so many different spots, I'm just like, we resonate in some degree. Our material might be very different, and, but, like, I at least understand, like, how much, like, Josh Tinley, way funnier than I am, right? However, I see Josh everywhere.
Also, way funnier than I am.
Yeah.
Way funnier than everybody
hilarious.
in this room. 100.
Yeah.
Funnier than 100% of the people in this room. Yeah.
But even if he wasn't, how nice of a person that he is, and how much he tries. Yeah. It would have been like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched his episode of this pod actually. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's he's a delight. I like Josh a lot. But that kind of stuff I look for, and I care. So I keep a spot usually available when I'm booking the show, with that in mind of, I'm trying to do better about that too.
And I think that's good for the ecosystem as well. Like, you get better by having stage time at shows. Yeah. Not just mics. So you're feeding into the development of the ecosystem. Yeah. And the person who's not so good now might be really good in 8 months.
And then they come back and do 10. you know? Yeah, it's important. Yeah, that's really important. So, rough. Yeah, 2 drop. Did you have people in mind? You don't say their names. But did you have people in mind to like hit up after 2 people drop? Like, this is a common producer problem. So it'd be good to share.
Right. Yeah. In one case, I was able to replace the person right away because I had somebody already in mind who I was like, because I always try to think of the show as a whole. Like there are a lot of comedians I like, but the way I think, and there's specific like combinations that I want at a show. And this particular person, I was going to put them on a future show.
Cool.
So when the one person dropped out, I was like, well, I might as well see if this other person's available. And they were. So now they're doing the show. The second person that dropped out, because I have so many people, I mean, I have like 6 plus the host or 6 plus me or something. So there is a good amount of people. I talked to Carlos Sabas, he produces a bunch of shows, and he was like, you might not even need to replace the second person who dropped out. But his advice to me was also very good. He knows I have a show tonight where I don't know most of the people. So this will be, before I offer it up to anybody else, like, I'm going to go to the show tonight, see how I feel about everybody's comedy. Do they vibe with the kind of comedy that I like? Not to say, not are they good, are they bad, but are they to the taste and to the brand that I want for my shows?
Perfect.
And then Carlos has a show on Friday that I'm going to go to just to hang out, just to like support. And there's a bunch of people on his lineup that I don't know. So I'm going to go and see between tonight's show and Friday's show, is there somebody new that I might want to book that I haven't necessarily seen before, but if they kill at one of these shows and their style of comedy resonates with me, maybe I can book from that pool.
Yeah, it's when in doubt, don't. Like if you don't have somebody, then don't. So that's good. I think that's a very important thing. How long is the runtime of the show if you were to add up the minutes and whatnot? Do you have an idea?
I mean, 60 minutes. If there's 60 comedians, each one is getting 10. That's 60 minutes pure, not including the host. That's probably 70 minutes together. I have a friend who's like a professional full-time touring comedian who is like, if I'm not booked that day, I'll stop by and do 5. Like, fingers crossed. He's so good. He's so good. And he's a person who, like, when I told him about the show, I was like, listen, I know I can't afford you. I'm just letting you know that I'm producing my first show. He's like, all right, if I'm free that night, like, I'll stop by and do 5.
You tell me after we get done.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm curious who that is.
Yeah. So I'm not too, and like the host that I have is so strong. I'll tell you my entire lineup after we finish.
Sure.
He's so strong that he can go. He's so good. He doesn't even do material. He just riffs.
Really?
And he's funnier than people with material prepared.
Who's the host?
I'll tell you after the.
Okay. You don't want to. Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Comment below if you want to know who the host is.
Yeah, guesses. If whoever guesses the correct name can do your next podcast.
I'll send a likable hat to whoever guesses who it is.
So he's so good that if I told him like, yo, I need more time, he could probably just.
That's great.
Just wing it. Yeah.
Strong host is so important.
I know my friends are like, "Oh, you should host. Like, this is great practice." And I'm like, "This is my first show that I'm producing. I don't need the stress of hosting, which is something that I'm bad at anyway. So I'm just gonna hire somebody who's amazing."
Yeah, I was very lucky. The first show that I ever produced, I didn't even put myself on. I had
very generous. There's no way I would even produce a show if I didn't go on.
Yeah, I mean, it was like one of those things where like I was still so new to comedy. Like I started producing like maybe 4 months in, and maybe 3 actually. I had my friend Danny, who had produced a bunch of shows. He had an idea of a lineup, and I was like, cool. He's like, you should do 5. I'm like, I'm just gonna observe. Like, I want to, because it was at my venue. So I'm like, I want to.
That makes sense. That makes sense why you didn't do it. 3 months in, I don't think
Yeah, I just wanted to see how everything flowed, because like, you always want to improve one thing every time, right? But if I'm frantic about, like, oh my God, how's my 5 going to do? I don't know how to talk to my own town, like all that kind of stuff. Then I'd be like, all right, cool. So I need to, but anyways, but he gave me great advice on how to do stuff. And, I got to see how it all worked. And we had an amazing lineup that night anyways. So I would have been intimidated, but yeah, it was cool to watch. So I mean, I host my shows typically in Rhinebeck now, but I try not to host every show that I'm on. Like for the Don't Tells, like I'm more of a showrunner for those, but our producer is very good about being like, hey, you're on the lineup, but you're also show running, so you shouldn't have to host. You should be focused on all the other stuff and your material, but not adding in making sure the crowd is happy before people get up there. So but hosting is a very large responsibility in a show. I don't think it gets enough credit.
I think it's the hardest one.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a headliner, so I don't really know.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you're a headliner, you have prepared material. For
sure. And 7 out of 10 times they're there to see you.
Yeah.
So they already like you.
Yeah.
But the host is just like, who's this guy telling me to turn off my cell phone?
Is he even a comedian or just a person talking to us?
Yeah. It's amazing because I hosted at Laugh It Up a few times, right? And how many people afterwards think that I just work at the club? I was like, this is rough.
I heard recently somewhere that in those situations, like you should, when you go up as a host in the very beginning and you introduce yourself, you should say, "Hello, I'm the host for tonight and also the first comedian."
Oh,
and that way
that's
they
a good
know, oh, he's also telling jokes we should be laughing at,
Fair. Yeah. So this Laugh It Up does food service during. So not only are you trying to get the crowd to settle in and to get like some jokes out there and get their attention and whatnot, you're also competing with like, how do you want your burger cooked? Medium well? Okay, that's a good choice. Do you want sweet potato fries or regular? And it's just like, all right, that's happening literally right in front of me. And then, this, not to mention the 6 other servers that are asking people questions at their tables.
Yeah.
And then check spot is always fun. Have you ever done a check spot before? Do you know what a check spot is?
I think it's when the checks come around and people are doing calculations.
Yeah.
I've seen a lineup where like it's the names and then checks.
Yep.
And the final name. I've seen, so I figured out kind of like what it is,
so Laugh It Up does a check spot after the headliner. So when you're introducing the headliner, you'll be like, hey, I'm about to bring up your headliner. Just so you know, after the headliner gets off the stage, I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to talk to you guys while you pay your bills. So, just know that I'm coming back. And then the headliner goes up, does their time, gets done. You go up there, and everybody's just like, I didn't get 2 beers. I got 1 beer. And it's just like all of that is happening. They're arguing about their checks. They're like, do you want to split it? Like all of that is happening while you're trying to do 15. And it is rough. But, it makes you a stronger comic. That's for sure. It's interesting because like Funny Bone and like Levity Live, no check spot. It's just the checks get dropped during the headliner set, and it's like crazy to me that happens. Because I didn't. It ended up not happening, but I got booked to host at the Funny Bone in Albany, and I was just like, they're like. I asked, I was like, am I doing the check spot too? Because it's like 300 seats. It's like a very jarring experience when that many people are talking while you're trying to talk. And they're like, what's a check spot? And I'm like, what? That's crazy. But yeah, they just walk around with a little tablet thing that you scan your card on, and it's over,
Wow.
It's pretty easy. Yeah. But that's unique. I never ended up doing that spot, but unique how clubs don't do that sometimes.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Cool. So you got your lineup set. You figured it out, and maybe you'll throw in
TBD the last one.
TBD the last one.
Yeah.
Word. You said that you don't have to share how much, but you said this is an interesting that we talked about on Monday. You're like, I've got X amount of tickets sold, and we're still 2 weeks out. Like, you're nervous about it.
We're now 30% sold.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. That's awesome.
Two more tickets got sold. Were bought yesterday at night, and I was like, it shows up on my phone. I'm like, oh my God.
If it's a Friday show and Wednesday the numbers are still low, then you should maybe like a week from today, right? Today's Wednesday. Week from today, if the numbers are still low, then it's okay to start getting nervous.
Okay.
Yeah. but chances are people are going to be like, what are we doing tonight? and that'll be,
Yeah.
you'll see a big boom. But like, even if Monday comes around and you're feeling a little anxious,
Yeah.
it's okay. But just
Yeah.
know that Wednesday's like,
I
your
have a few more
nervous line.
places. So on Monday, I used to live in the building that's around the corner from the cafe where the cafe owner lives.
Mm-hmm.
So the flyers for that have been posted all over that building.
Yeah, awesome.
And with agreement from the super and the building manager, so everybody's down
Great
for
effort.
it. And I'm still part of like the Facebook group for residents of that building. And I don't post in it because I'm not really a resident anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured, okay, on Monday, I'm going to post it and be like, hey, if you're still in the building, you've been seeing these flyers, just a reminder that it's this Friday. So I do that push.
Very nice.
I live in a building that's like a 10-minute walk from the venue. And so I think in like a little pre-war building, I might put up a flyer on the front door and just say, hey, neighbors, this is my show.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the QR code if you want to come. And then also there are a bunch of other like pre-war apartment buildings in my area. And I might just do some guerrilla marketing and go. Because to get into the building, the front door is open. You get into a vestibule and there's another door that's you need a key to get into the actual building.
Yep.
But the vestibule where all the mailboxes are open. So I'm like,
Oh, just stuff them.
Boop.
Yeah.
just like put it up on the, there's not enough of like a slit in the mailbox to put it into the mailbox, but literally I'll just tape it to the wall. And if they take it down, they take it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so jealous of that because,
There's all houses here.
yeah, all houses. Yeah. I'm
You
just
would have
like-
to do like political level canvassing.
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Actually, I should just do those lawn signs for like comedy Saturday, vote for jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll start doing that. Now I'm using Facebook ads.
Okay.
And they help a lot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I was just having everything share on Instagram, and Meta will bury that if there's a link that leads to anything other than their own stuff.
But Facebook doesn't do that?
Facebook
Oh, Facebook ads doesn't.
Facebook
they don't throttle
ads
the ads.
will actually accelerate everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, all right, you got to pay to play, I guess.
How much money? I mean, you don't have to say the exact amount, but like in terms of how much money you spend versus revenue and ticket sales.
I definitely make profit for the one that I sell a lot of tickets for.
Okay.
I definitely make profit for the one I typically sell tickets for. I usually do free shows where I talk to...
So on the free shows, you don't pay the comedians, or you do?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So I'll talk to the venue to allocate a budget. And then I'll be like, hey, this is the number that I can work with. And as a venue, you just know for food and drink, you need to catch up to that number, which usually isn't that high. And then, make money after that. And they're like, that's a good deal.
Oh, meaning like you'll say like, okay, I need like $300 to book comics. That's how much you need to sell in food and bev to break even. And then anything above that you keep.
Yeah. And I'll find a venue that usually I pick breweries because I work with craft beer. So I'll find a brewery and then I'll approach them with this idea. We already have like a relationship because I buy a lot from them. So they're more apt to help me anyways. And then on top of that, Saturday nights at a brewery, not necessarily the busiest. But
Oh, interesting.
yeah, because they're more of like a Friday afternoon, weekday crowd, whatever. Like a lot of breweries are busy on like the day shift of a weekend. Depends on the brewery,
I would never
obviously.
guess that. You're telling me this
Yeah.
for the first time. That's
People go straight to cocktails after like 7:00. It's dinner and cocktails. But craft beer is more of a dad bod thing, but those guys are in bed by 8:00. Yeah. So it's
Put that on a friggin' pin. Craft beer is more of a dad bod thing.
actually, yeah, that is kind of funny.
I like that.
Yeah.
Put it on a hat, bro. Those hats would sell out.
I think, maybe we found something. I keep messing with this arm, but yeah. So that's what I do. But for a show that I'm selling tickets to, I try to picture if the show gets 70%, my budget should work accordingly for that. Obviously, I'm not trying to like one show I had to cancel because it was a venue where I pay a fair amount to comedians, but also I spent over well over $150 trying to make this venue work advertising wise. And 2 days before the event, I had 4 tickets sold, and I needed to hit 30.
Why was it so few tickets? Was it the venue? Was it not popular, or was it new?
It was like it was like St. Patrick's Day weekend. And it was like, I should have thought about this. But St. Patrick's Day was on a Tuesday this year. I'm thinking like they're going to do stuff this weekend. But I didn't realize that the city that the brewery was in does a fucking huge parade. Everybody's going to be there drunk that day. So I'm like, I'm competing with day drinking right now. It's not going to work. So had to cancel the show.
So it was the weekend after St. Patrick's Day or the weekend before?
It was the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then the Saturday after St. Patrick's Day, same thing kind of happened, but it was like, that city did a parade. And I'm like, I got to really look at the parade schedule here. That's horrible. So, I mean, the way I looked at it was I already spent, well over, $150 in advertisement. I'm not going to drop another $300 on comics, and then just be...
You just paid $150 to learn the lesson about St. Patrick's Day parades.
Yeah, 2 weekends in a row. So I love that. I love that for me.
Yeah, but guess what? You're never going to do that again.
Yeah, and what I started doing was with the show that I actually make pretty good profit on, 20% of that profit goes into like a little savings account to cover me if there is a show where I just have to eat it.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, and initially when I created that, it was if I save up enough money, I'll get a true headliner to come out of New York.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to a few of them, and the number is not impossible. Like to get somebody to do 40 minutes that you would see at the Cellar, that's really good. It's like $500 for them to come up here, which is a lot, but it's not unlikable.
And so you do the feature, you do the headline, you do a feature, you do an opener and a host.
I have a co-producer on that show. One of us would host, one of us would he can headline in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
who's the guy?
Kevin Ludlow, very good. He's headlined at Laugh It Up.
I don't think I've ever seen him. He's
very good. He's only done the city like maybe a couple times.
Okay.
But
he just dominates upstate.
He had a very hot streak, and he just continued to dominate after that. Something clicked at some point, and
nice.
He's always been very good.
Yeah.
But at some point, he hit like a stride where he was on a show, and he did better than the headliner, and everybody kind of knew it. And then afterwards, he got offered to headline a different spot, and it's just been headline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's also just the nicest guy. Good dude. He's a good husband. He's a good dad. So just a great guy. But it would probably be like me host, him feature, and have this headline. So I mean, we split the our chunk of the profit, but I mean most of it would go to the headliner, and then the venue takes 15%. So it'd be a good deal, I think. But that's a goal one day. Well, eventually if I can get that money back, we'll get there. Yeah. I emailed Gianmarco Cerezi.
So good.
Yeah, and he was interested, but we got stuck on a number. I'm like, I can't afford that right now.
Yeah, so. I can't. There's no way he's doing it for 500.
No, but I mean, it's not far off. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Yeah. You just have to catch him on the right weekend.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the cool thing about up here, Hudson Valley, is that a lot of people just want to come here, spend the weekend. So, it's kind of nice. Yeah. But that's boring. So sorry.
Not boring for me.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if it's boring for the listeners, but
they're very boring.
As a producer, I'm very interested. I'm very interested in how much are you paying your comics? Because I feel like I'm paying, sort of the standard-ish for my area, but I also feel like it's low.
Yeah, it's what's unique is like a lot of people being up here, hearing that I'm doing so many city spots, are like, wow, city must pay pretty well. And I'm like, actually, they don't pay.
They're free. They're free, babe.
It's all free.
They're free, and I might have to buy my own drink. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to actually buy two. Depends on the show. And they're like, why? I'm like, because it's so saturated. Like, if I don't want to do a show because they don't pay me, they're like, fine, we'll find one of the other 10 million straight white men
and
that
they'll
do
be
comedy
better,
in New
and they'll
York.
Find somebody better. Yeah, it's not even like they're settling and getting somebody worse.
They won't find anybody better. How dare you? No, but there are so many more willing people to do comedy down there, and it's like, yeah, I'm very replaceable down there. It's not like, if I hold out, they're like, oh no, we need another white guy. How are we going to fill this demo? But also it's just like, everybody's hungry down there.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities. And yeah, it's, But that's the cool part about doing the city is that there's so many people that are trying, you know?
That's how, that's how I'm motivated to get better is when, if I have a streak where I'm like, I'm so good. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm on a show with somebody who just kills. I'm like, I need to get up there, especially if it's somebody who's been like doing comedy who started comedy within like around the same year, let's say.
Oh yeah.
Year on one end or a year before me or a year after me. Mm-hmm. I'm suicidal if I see them kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, and I used to be, I'm getting better about this now. And I used to be like, oh, they're just more talented. That's what they're doing better. Mm-hmm. And then I hear about how much work they're putting in.
Yeah.
One guy is doing city mic. He lives in New Jersey. He's doing city mics Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. At a time, for a while, I was doing like, oh, maybe I'll do like 4 mics, or 5 mics in a week, in Jersey. Like, oh, I'm doing so well. Meanwhile, if you go into the city, you're doing minimum 3 mics, maybe 4. So this guy was getting between 9 and 12. He was going up between 9 and 12 times a week, while I was going up 5. Well, no shit, he's better.
Damn. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not more talented, but I'm saying I don't have the right to blame it on a gap in talent.
Yeah.
If he's outworking me by that much. Another guy, also very good, also kind of, I can't remember if he started around the same time as me. I think he did. This guy writes a new 5 minutes every week.
Yeah.
Every week and to his credit, he's like, listen, I'm not saying the 5 minutes is good. It doesn't matter. I'm not writing bad 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. A new 5 minutes every week. That's insane.
Yeah, I was doing that for my first year.
It
was crazy.
Yeah. I was doing something similar in the very beginning where I felt like I needed to come up with new stuff every day. I needed like new material, which is like not really true. But now I'm taking on the tracking how many times I go up during the week. I'm not quite at the point where I'm willing to write 5 new minutes. That I know is going to burn me out if I try to do that right now.
Well, what I like about New York, because I've been trying to go down like every Monday, right? Mm-hmm. And I try to do at least 3 mics. Mm-hmm. I will, and what's killing me is that like, well, it's good and it's bad. I have usually shows on Friday, Saturday, right? So that gap between Tuesday and Friday, I'm thinking of new premises, new material, and then like I'll spend the weekend thinking about how to make those jokes, right? And then, but I'm doing shows on Friday and Saturday with Tried and True, right? But when the time Monday comes around, like Sunday, I'm going to write out actual jokes. By the time Monday comes around, I'm on the train and I'm organizing them into an order that works, that I can memorize. And then I'm just trying to do that same 5 that I wrote that Tuesday or that I started with that Tuesday at least 3 mics while I'm in New York. Good. Because it's like, that's the easiest way for me to remember. But also like the advantage of being in New York City is that you can not get distracted and you can just focus on comedy for 3 hours in a block. Versus up here, before I did that, it'd be like Monday and Tuesday would be writing nights. Wednesday was 5 minutes at an open mic. Thursday, maybe I went to an open mic if I could find one. And then Friday, open mic unless I had a show. And then Saturday would be a show. And then back to Monday again. And I'm only producing like 5 minutes a week. But, but it was still very like not as thought out, versus like every Monday I can get 3 reps in
That's
one
awesome.
day. Yeah. It's nice. It's very nice. It's, I'm still not producing like great stuff, but like it definitely helps me weed out bad stuff quicker,
Yeah. You can focus on like which jokes to develop and which are just like throw them in the trash.
Yeah. And like, at least, so I started going to West Side Comedy Club on Mondays at 3. I really like that spot.
I haven't been. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Next time.
I go to Greg Giraldo Jr.'s. He calls it the unemployment mic at West Side Comedy Club.
Nice.
And getting Greg to laugh feels good because at this point I can tell his fake laugh from his real laugh.
Yeah.
And so getting him to laugh feels good.
Yeah.
But then like if a joke hits too well with all the other comedians, I'm like, can't do it at a regular show. because it's
I know
it's
we're
too
talking
dark.
about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, if it's just like it gets like a solid nod, I'm like, all right, that's enough of a thinker that a crowd will like,
That's a problem with my strippers guns joke. That's comedians love that joke.
They laugh at the gun in the mouth part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, the audience it's a hit or miss. I mean, that one guy loved it in the video, but sometimes people are like, ugh.
Yeah.
But there's too much dead space for the rest of the joke that it's like not. Yeah.
There's a joke in the middle because you kind of do a rule of three there.
Yeah.
There is so guns are like strippers. There's the middle joke in there that I felt like
there's neither one wants to be in this line of work, and the three are Olympics, 100-meter dash,
okay,
rap video, and gun in the mouth.
Okay. I don't get the correlation between stripper and Olympics.
Oh, so it's that neither one really wants. They're similar because neither one wants to be in its line of work. Strippers don't want to be strippers. Strippers want to work in digital marketing. And then the three is about how guns don't want to kill people. The gun doesn't want to commit a mass shooting. It wants to be at the Olympics, setting off the 100-meter dash. It doesn't want to shoot your mother-in-law. It wants to be in a rap video, and then it doesn't want to be in your mouth on a Thursday night. And it is a stripper. So
bring it back to the stripper. Okay, that makes more sense to me now. Yeah, but I think that I got lost on the Olympics when I heard that one.
It's like too confused. It makes sense. My brother loves the Olympic line. I mean, he was the first time I told him the joke over the phone. He was dying because immediately he, for some reason, was thinking of like the Berlin or the Munich Olympics. Where like, is it just Jesse Owens? Maybe it's like in Hitler's Germany, and the black athlete wins. I think it's Jesse Owens. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to correct myself in the comments when this comes out. And he's the black athlete wins, I think, first place in one of the races, and like holds up a fist, like a black power fist, at a time of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that's what my brother thought of in that moment. So he's like dying. But I can see why. I always think like, isn't it funny that the guy just wants to like the gun wants to like just fire at the Olympics to set off the foot race, and everybody's like, huh? So it just doesn't. It's just like it
had bigger dreams. It had higher aspirations.
Yes, yes, yes.
It never actually left the elementary school.
Yeah.
Sick. That makes more sense now, actually. Yeah.
But if it took that much explaining, imagine how the audience is doing.
Well, I mean, so I was, I'm trying to think about what that meant in that joke while you're saying it on Monday, and then you bring it right into the stripper in your mouth thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's I know that immediately. I can laugh at that, So it's like it was easy enough for me to like move on if I didn't get it. So I don't know if there is an issue there.
The issue is that it doesn't consistently get a laugh. The Olympics bit.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe there is something there then that you to tinker with.
Yeah.
But that's good. Yeah. Not that we're picking apart your material.
But I want to, what I mean?
Cool.
I want to do that. Yeah.
This has got to be probably one of my more favorite episodes in recent memory, just because we did more comedy talk as far as writing goes. Yeah, I will say that. Just because, like, usually
you hear that, other guests?
Yeah, you should feel very insecure,
episodes.
Gilbert and Jordan, who will come out the week after this. Yeah, we're bumping you back now. Actually, I'm going to keep postponing them. Fuck them. I do have to get to work, though. So we're going to wrap up. Likeable is filmed and recorded with a Radio-Free Rhinecliff. Thank you to Jen Hammoud and Matthew Rosenberg, our producers. And thank you to The Epicurean, which hosts us for each and every episode. Come in, stop and shop. They got some great stuff here. Likeable is a comedy-based podcast. We're experts in absolutely nothing and should not be taken seriously. Consider this your daily dose of questionable wisdom and guaranteed hilarity, we hope. Perceived with caution and a healthy dose of skepticism. Yelena, no last name. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Music.
This was fun.
Oh. All right. Bye, everybody.
Jokes and you're insightful.